Pretty sure I said Alan before I made it through the whole meeting. Really good. Start sliding out.
Yeah. You're gonna have to look into some chairs, Linda.
He's not here. I'm gonna grab that sheet when we get going.
I think we had these for what?
Chairs?
15 years.
Oh, yeah.
Bruce Nielsen got a deal.
Yeah.
Oh,
Might as well.
Word we office for anything.
All right, 6 o'clock. We'll call the meeting to order with the Pledge of Allegiance.
I pledge allegiance to the flag, the United States of America, and to the republic for which it stands, one nation, under God, indivisible, with liberty and justice for all.
Good evening, everybody, and welcome to the Monday, October 6th, 2025 Credit River City Council meeting. We'll begin with approving or amending the agenda. Is there any changes to the agenda? Administrator Jelinski.
Mr. Mayor, thank you. I'd like to remove general business 7.5 from the agenda, please. We did not receive an agreement from Scott County until about an hour ago, so.
Okay. Okay. Any other changes? Otherwise, I'll take a motion to approve the agenda with the one change.
I'll make that motion.
Thank you, Lever.
Second.
Thank you, Bill. Motion by Schomer, second by Margaret. All in favor, say aye.
Aye.
Aye. Anybody opposed? Hearing none, motion passes. We'll move into sheriff's report. Deputy Strack, good evening.
I have August for you if you want
Sure.
it. So we'll go back all the way to August. So there's four and a quarter pages. Nothing. Like I said earlier, there's a couple, it's been the last couple months of deaths for some reason. It's ebb and flow. I mean, it is just happens. But overall, there's nothing that really stands out for August report. We got into some juvenile issues. We're starting to see more and more of the e-bike complaints. The whole county is. Cities more than Prior Lake, Shakopee area, more than here. Knock on wood, because those are a nightmare. But if you start seeing them with the trails, I would recommend the public to call on them. I'm talking not your pedal assist bikes, your actual ones that look like dirt bikes that are electric, that are illegal. A lot of our parents are buying them for kids thinking that they can just go wherever they want. And they're actually by statute, a off-road motor vehicle. So.
And how old do you have to be to ride one?
Well, you gotta have a motorcycle endorsement to ride one because they're an off-road motorized vehicle.
Yep.
So headlight, tail light, motorcycle endorsement, helmet, have to ride it on the roadway. Comes down to statute for those. They have to go over 24 miles an hour and have to be 720 watts or more for the motorized vehicle. The issue we run into is these ones that are getting purchased are they're like the Talarias and Surons. They come out of the box at about 24 miles an hour, but there's a cord in there. If you cut it, they'll do like 65 miles an hour. They do. They do. They don't come with pedals on them. They look like a dirt bike. We're running, the state's running into an issue. Minnetonka started it. A lot of these kids are running from cops. Shakopee's doing it now. These kids are running from cops. They're dangerous.
Yeah.
But I mean, we can tell the kids not to drive them all day long. Parents are just like, yeah, go ahead, drive it. Nobody knows the laws. Just like anything else with statutes, we got to change and update and tag. But I think we'll start seeing more and more problems flow from Prior Lake area just because of the bike pass. Clear Lake, they're going to start riding through the dirt bike trails, and they're
selling aftermarket bolt-on pedals too, so then they can say, hey, I got pedals.
yes.
Really?
Crazy. Some of the pedals don't do anything to the chain. Some of them will actually be a system so it's chain driven so that they
Mhm.
actually assist that bike.
Mhm.
I can't say that our attorney's office will charge on the ones that actually assist the bike with the chain driven, because now you're walking that fine line of, is it a pedal assist or
Right.
not? Does it still violate that statute? Cause some of these bikes that I see I mean, I don't see any normal pedal bikes anymore. But some of these bikes that are driving all the way to Cleary or along 185th that are your senior people, they're
Mhm.
driving the e-bikes and they're pedal assist, but they're still doing 30-40 miles an hour. So are those illegal or not? Are those over the wattage or not? I don't know. But when it comes to dangerous driving for these kids, somebody's gonna end up getting hurt or killed. Cause they're wearing bike helmets, they're not wearing motorcycle helmets,
Right.
so just maybe something on your guys' page of, and I can send you the statute for them. I know some of the other cities have put out on their Facebook pages of them, but
Mhm.
just to maybe be ahead of the game on that. But for August, that's really about it. I don't think we had one, but we're gonna start seeing them. September's report. We actually got 5 pages.
Wow.
You're gonna see more and more, again, and I've said this for months, more officer initiated traffic. As of right now, we are the 3rd deadliest county in the state of Minnesota for fatals, for traffic fatals. Hennepin County, Dakota County are right in front of us, so.
Is that because of speed, Jeff? Do you think, or?
I think there's multiple things. I think people are being called back to the office, so you got more people on the road. You have speeds up because they haven't driven for a while, and everybody's in a hurry. I think there's still a lot of people holding their cell phones in their hand and being distracted. The statute is you can't even have that phone in your hand. It's a hands-free period. Nothing in your hands.
How often are people getting pulled over with phones in their hands because of that? Is that a primary offense that you can pull somebody over for that?
Oh yeah, absolutely.
Yeah.
Let me tell you this, when you're in a squad car, you don't see it. Cause it's like it immediately drops down and you don't see it. We do have TZD, which is towards zero death grant money, where we'll put somebody in like a public works truck or a totally unmarked squad that you can't see.
Mhm.
We did it a couple weeks ago. I think we had 11 citations in 5 hours, and that was hands-free. That was cell phone distracted driving.
Yeah.
So they're still out there. You can't even, we see it a little bit more as in like you stop at a stoplight or a stop
Mhm.
sign and they pull it up and look at it. It's still a violation.
Yeah.
So you'll never stop it. You just won't. We are the culture of living on our cell phones and you won't change it, but just know that we're up there. So I know our office is heavy on traffic, so you're gonna see way more traffic stops than anything, so. That's why you see the
I was
speed.
gonna ask about the sign up there. So is that sign get followed up by heavy patrol then?
So that's our new speed trailer. That one has the analytics, actually, the other one broke. So this one will tell us the high speed, the low speed, your average speed. It doesn't take a picture of each car. But this one we can actually set it to say whatever it wants. But this one's set so that those red and blues blink, and it actually slows people down a lot. I sat up there today and
They start blinking at 62, I think, right?
we can set it. So we can set
The
whatever
way
we
it's
want.
set right
Yeah,
now.
this one, I think it started
I've
blinking.
tested it, so.
Oh,
No.
I should have been there. Yeah, I think it's 62. It might be 65. I know that it tells you your speed, and then after over 65, I think it just says slow down.
Yeah.
We had it in front of my house for a long time over on the west side, and my stretch of road where I live is like straight and people
Mhm.
fly. It's a 55 zone, and that was blinking red and blue all the time, and then you see the cars like dive. So it's out here. The problem with that is it's hard to get to spots where there's not a big shoulder.
Yeah.
Eagle Creek and 185th is like a interstate. So our sergeant that's in charge of it, he likes to put it out there.
Mhm.
So it slows down the traffic stops for me because I tried to get a couple stops today and it was hard to get, but which is a good thing. It's educating people that they're speeding, so it works. I would still say when we do the analytics on that in the report, it's probably still gonna show that people are still speeding, because by the time they get there, it's got their analytic on it and they're probably at 65 around that corner. People forget that that's still only a 55 zone,
Mhm.
so. But,
I'd be interested to see what that is after what's been out there for 2
yeah, I mean, I
weeks.
can ask, the sergeant to see if we can get just a month report or
Yeah.
a week report to see what the analytics are on it, and I'll let you guys know. Other than that, really, we're getting into the season for conservation hunting questions. We had a couple yesterday, so. I mean, those will pop up. Couple burning issues. People now think that it's wet, that we can just burn wherever we want. They still don't understand they have to get a permit. So. But overall, nothing major stands out. So. Any questions on August or September's?
Council, anything?
No.
So yeah, I mean, you could, August 20, there was 23% of traffic stops on the report. For September, it was 42%. So you see a big increase, but our office would send out an email about
Mhm.
the traffic, so. Yeah.
Okay,
Perfect.
thanks, Jeff.
Yeah,
Appreciate it.
you guys take care.
Stay safe out there. All right, we'll move into consent agenda. Those items on the council agenda which are considered routine or non-controversial are included as part of the consent agenda. Unless a council member specifically requested an item on consent agenda, be removed and considered separately. Items on the consent agenda are considered under one motion, a second, and a vote. Any item removed from consent agenda shall be placed at the end of general business. Tonight on the consent agenda, we've got 3.1 minutes from the September 22nd, 2025 city council meeting. 3.2 approve final payment for the 2024 overlay project. 3.3 approve declaration of easement for Outlot B Judicial Estates. 3.4 approve a letter of credit reduction for the Yellowstone of Credit River. 3.5 approve a credit reduction for the Ranch of Credit River Second Edition. 3.6 approve the letter of credit reduction for the Yellowstone Credit River Second Edition. And 3.7 approve payment of claims and transfer requests as presented. Is there anything that anybody'd like to remove from consent agenda tonight? Otherwise, I will take a motion to approve.
So moved.
Thank you, Jay.
Second.
Thank you, Abe. Motion by Soderbach, second by Zonto. All in favor, say aye.
Aye.
Anybody opposed? Hearing none, motion passes. Open forum. The public forum is intended to afford the public an opportunity to address concerns to the council. The public forum will be no longer than 30 minutes in length, and each presenter will have no more than 5 minutes to speak. Topics of discussion are restricted to local governmental topics rather than private or political agendas. The council may discuss, but will not take formal action on public forum presentations. I had one person sign up, Dave Neville. If you'd like to speak in open forum,
Yes.
if you don't mind stepping to the podium here, and we'll take you your comments.
Hi, Dave Neville, 8640 Oak Hill Circle. Here kind of a question and perhaps a 1-minute sales pitch if you answer the question. What are we doing with the ash trees? Do you have any left that you're trying to save? The reason I ask is I worked with a company recently that has a product that helps bring the ash trees back to life. Is this an appropriate forum for that, or should I make a separate appointment?
Well, I think probably, Dave, the best thing if you wanted to forward on any information you have on this to our city administrator,
Okay.
and we can work through staff to, decide if that's something we want to present to the council.
Okay, sounds good. Do you want to hear about 2 seconds about it or wait to talk to Jay?
Might be interesting to hear 2 seconds about it.
All right.
Hurt my feelings.
All right, real quick, what we do is we take fruits and vegetables, grind it up, we make a plant essence, we spike that with 13 different microbes. It's primarily for farm fields to create a better biome to use less fertilizer. As kind of hook or crook, we figured out a few months ago that if you put this on ash trees that have been attacked by the ash borers, it takes the sap from producing the sap for 12 hours a day to 24 hours a day, allowing it to overcome some of that damage that the borers have done between the bark and the tree. And we're seeing about 30% comeback in the last 2 months on trees we treated in the Trimont City, right in front of their city hall. So any questions on that? Again, I want to keep you very respectful of everybody's time.
Yeah. I appreciate that.
But the fact that we're seeing it come back, hopefully we can save a few trees. I think we're gonna lose the war, but if we can buy a few years by feeding them and replace them a little bit more intelligently, that's kind of probably where we're at with that. Thank you for your time.
Thanks, Dave. Appreciate it. And again, Steve, our administrator, if you just want to, get his contact, there's emails on the website. Anybody else for open forum tonight? Hearing none, we'll close open forum and we'll move into general business. General business number 1, 7.1, trees in Creekwood Park. Administrator Jelinski.
Thank you, Mayor and council members. I received an email from some citizens in the Creekwood neighborhood, and they are also interested in some trees. And in the Creekwood Park area, they would like to plant some trees. They're interested in planting 5 to 8 trees. They are open to different species of trees, anything from maple, oak, cottonwood, ginkgo, elm, coffee, white pine, hard maple, basswood. If the council is interested in pursuing that, staff is willing to get quotes to do that. There are, let's see, 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 7 different families that are willing to take care of those trees and help make sure that the trees grow and produce. They are also asking that we purchase water bags for those. Now those bags are, I think, $10-15 a piece, so they're not super expensive. Very early research on trees. We're looking at between $600 to $800 a tree for the tree itself and delivery and planting of the tree. So not super expensive. We do have money in the park budget for trees. If that's something you want to pursue, but I can get several quotes from different companies if you'd like staff to pursue further. So just looking for direction from council if that's something you would like for staff to do, and I can bring that back to the next council meeting.
Councilmember Schober.
Mr. Mayor, Steve, maybe we should get a hold of our tree guy, Randy Collins, his son's arborist, find out which of these would be good trees to put in the park. So mention.
Yeah. When we had the park meeting in Creekwood, I think we heard from a resident there too that, there's the discussion in the neighborhood about getting some trees to replace the ones that have died. One of our comment back to her was that planting the tree is the easy part. It's making sure it keeps getting watered after it's planted to make sure the investment doesn't die before it has a chance to grow, right? And that person has clearly has reached out to other people in the neighborhood and gathered some support and some people who are willing to take care of those trees and keep them watered. And I think having those water bags in there too would reduce the amount of times a week that they'd have to actually fill those.
And the park is really sandy, so we wouldn't need the bags.
I think it'd be great to have staff work on some quotes with some people that can install some trees there to see what we're up against.
I would support that. We have money in the parks budget. Correct? We can use the capital improvement for that. It's good use for it.
Any other comments or questions? Otherwise, I would be happy to take a motion to ask staff to complete some quotes.
So moved.
I'll second it.
Thank you, Jay. Thank you, Leroy. A motion is second to direct staff to obtain quotes for planting trees in the Creekwood Park. All in favor, say aye.
Aye.
Anybody opposed? Hearing none, motion passes. 7.2, consider quotes for facilitated city council workshop. Administrator Delancey.
Thank you, Mayor and Council. I believe it was the last council meeting, council directed staff to look at different facilitators for a city governance workshop. I was able to reach out to a few different facilitators. Some of them were not available to work with cities. Some of them did not have time. I was directed to the League of Minnesota Cities. I did speak with them. Their proposals in the packet. I spoke with another one who came highly recommended, and she was unable to do it due to health reasons, but she directed me to Chad Weinstein, who his proposal is in the packet. I spoke with both the league, Amy and Chad. And they both have very similar approaches to their workshops. What those consist of are individual interviews with both staff and council. And then you collectively come together for some workshops to discuss city governance and roles and responsibilities. The League of Minnesota Cities, their workshop is free. Kind of one caveat with the league is they make some recommendations but they don't, they give more suggestions without expectation, without direction, because they can't. The ethical leaders in action proposal will be more straightforward and give more recommendations to how they might see something and base their recommendations off of feedback that they receive from the workshop and from the individual interviews, and make more pointed recommendations. So if I were to make a recommendation, it would be to spend the money for the ethical leaders in action workshop. But you have two good workshop choices in front of you. So
Perfect. Thank you, Steve. Council, any comments or discussion?
I have a question. Peter, the city attorney, had mentioned that his firm does this as well, and there was Pam Whitmore, so I forget her name. I think that was it, but I can't remember. She was not available, or that was not an alternative?
yeah, Pam was busy through the end of the year.
Okay, that's the reason why we didn't consider. Okay, thank you. And why would you recommend your recommendation, the firm that charges $6,000, because they give more? They will tell us what we should be doing differently, and the other ones will not.
So the league would, Amy said that they would give suggestions of they wouldn't give recommendations.
They wouldn't say, here's your problem, here's how you fix it. They're gonna say,
Yeah.
here's your problem. You can
Yeah.
do this.
Yeah,
That,
yeah, so that they might point to an issue and they might say, here's a suggestion of how you might rewrite a policy to address that. The ethical leaders in action might say, here's how I recommend you might fix that.
So one gives suggestions, the other one gives direction. Yeah.
I'd support Steve's recommendation to use the ethical leaders in action.
I'll second it.
Bill, were you making a motion there?
If we're all done discussing this.
Yeah, I did some research on the ethical leaders and great reviews out there,
Yeah.
specifically on Michael. I don't remember his name. Whoever was going to be the facilitator.
George or Charles?
Charles.
Yeah.
Okay, whatever his name was. He
Signed by Charles Weinstein.
okay, that guy that had great reviews. So I would definitely
Yeah.
Yes.
And, the background of who they've worked with and what they've done is, speaks a lot for their experience and outcomes. So I would be along with that. So I will go back because Leroy tried to second your suggestion.
Yeah, I'll make a
Bill,
motion
so if
that
you
we-
wanted to make that motion.
I'll make a motion to accept the Ethical Leaders in Action quotation or contract.
Are you still gonna second it?
I seconded.
Perfect. So I've got a motion, a second to accept the quote from Ethical Leaders in Action to facilitate a city council workshop. All in favor, say aye.
Aye.
Anybody opposed? Hearing none, motion passes. 7.3, consider quotes for city hall door replacement. Administrator Jelinski.
Thank you, Mayor and City Council. Last city council meeting, Councilmember Schomer had a couple of quotes. And that were different than the two that were here. And this goes back to a couple months ago that we started looking at discussion on replacing the doors for City Hall. We talked about security of the City Hall doors. I think that the conversation about maybe just putting on deadbolts was brought up. And then the conversation about not being able to do that because of egress, and that's not allowed on commercial doors. And so we looked at replacing, I think that door specifically, there's a gap you can see outside on that door. So we have two quotes in here for your review. And the recommendation would be that the cheaper of the two, they are similar in materials. And we went with the cheaper of the two quotes. So if there's any questions, we can take those.
Okay, council, any questions or comments?
So Steve, do we look at the fire code on deadbolts? Because we made the comment that we can't use deadbolts because of egress, but there's deadbolts that have keys and there's deadbolts that don't have keys. And my understanding is the main reason why we're changing out the doors is because of security concerns that employees have. And you just have a deadbolt on the inside when only one employee is here at 9 o'clock at night. It's not a key deadbolt. I mean, I'm just wondering, do we look at the statutes or the fire code that says what we can and cannot do with a deadbolt on these doors?
Just based on the building code that I looked at, it says we aren't allowed to, but we can continue review on that.
Okay, so that's a building code with our building code or the fire code?
The 2020 Minnesota building code that I'm looking at.
Okay.
You can use an egress latch. There's hardware that you can put on those, but
Right, like panic hardware, is that another option?
yeah,
Are those
but
less?
there's different types.
Right.
So an egress latch, which is just a
Right.
panic push, and you're fine. It's keyed on the outside.
A deadbolt is just plain illegal, Bill. Because the panic device, you can hit it to go out, you can push that handle down to go out. The door is locked, where a deadbolt, you'd have to physically
Two actions.
turn it. And that's not legal.
Why is on the other, on the KR contracting, they actually have that won't listed.
Right.
Well, then he's
It's
wrong. And if you're gonna discuss a Schomer glasses quote, that's not an option anymore. Because the comment was made that, that's a relative and that's a, can't remember what it was.
Conflict of interest.
Conflict of interest, so that quote's off the table.
It's not really a conflict of interest if you don't have fiscal
Financial interest.
financial interest in it.
I know, but
I had a question about. Okay. So we've had three different A Schomer glass estimates that we've been receiving over the last couple meetings. Is there a reason why they changed? Were there different things we were asking them to quote? I mean, was there specifications for what we were looking for?
I can answer it, Steve. One was to replace the two doors with aluminum doors. Another one was to make aluminum vestibule out your entrance. Okay, look at the $14,000 one.
No, I have a $10,000 one, a $6,000
Yeah,
one, and a
that's
$7,200.
So
Okay. But we should forget about, it's just this one. And then what happened to Friedge's drywall ink that we received last meeting? That was only $2,700.
that's the company I work for, and that one's a conflict of interest too, so that one's gone.
They retracted their estimate.
So what do we have then? We have KR contracting, is that what I'm saying here and that we have?
You have two, we've got the $7,200 one from A Schomer Glass
Oh,
and the KR contracting. Yeah, so there's two valid estimates today for your consideration.
And Councilmember Shulman, did you say the A Schomer has retracted theirs?
He was supposed to send you a note, but he didn't.
I haven't received that then, so.
So then I guess we are down to one.
my recommendation was to go out and get another quote because I was gonna bring up the, although it's not a legal conflict of interest because there's no financial interest with A Schomer Glass. There's a perception out there, I was told, I haven't confirmed this with you, Leroy, but that the CEO is your brother of that company. I don't know if that's true or not. Is it?
Yeah, it's true. So
So,
because somebody has the same last name as mine, you don't want to do
no.
business with them?
No, but there's a
So-
perception of a conflict of interest when you have family members doing business for something that you're in charge of. Procuring. So I was gonna make a recommendation that we keep the KR contracting and ask for another quote from another vendor. But I wasn't gonna stop a vote on A Schomer Glass or KR contracting. I was just gonna look for someone else.
Then why bring it up to begin with, a conflict of interest?
Because I thought it was
let's
important that
Trying to work through,
Fine.
let's see what we can get the
I thought it was important that
Oh, yeah.
that the city
bill
knew
that's
that we were thinking about it.
Mhm.
I think it's important that the city knows that.
So. We're gonna do something, I think I would, be okay with the KR contracting one and. Get something going and before we get to winter time here and get some. New steel insulated doors set up so that, number one, that there aren't gaps around the doors that don't pop open. Something that our staff could feel more secure about. I think it's important if we make something happen.
I have, I have a
What's
question.
that?
I have a question.
Yeah, go ahead.
Have we addressed the raise in the frost heave on the slab in front there? Because if we put in a new door, we may have a problem with that.
KR is gonna put in a higher 1 inch threshold instead of the low ones,
Okay,
and it's gonna meet.
that should cover it. Okay, that should cover that. Then.
Yeah. It only comes up about a half inch or so.
About an inch.
Yeah.
And I don't know if that's a conflict of interest too, because he called me and asked me about it, and I tried to answer his questions so he could give a price.
But he came down and worked with Steve and
Yep.
measured and everything.
Yeah, he did.
He is a resident.
There were different door sizes in the various quotes, Steve. One said 36 by 84, one says 30 by 68.
Oh, that's 3068. 3'0" by 6'8".
Okay, one is 30x68, one is 36x84. Did they come out and measure these?
Yeah,
They did. Okay. Guess I don't understand the difference.
KR is putting in steel commercial doors, which come in either 6'8" or 7'0". And it looks like Schomer Glass is doing an aluminum entrance system, which standard would be 7 foot. But you can get the 6'8" too. It's two different kinds of doors.
Any other questions or comments on that?
I do.
Leroy?
And to repair these doors and tear them out, put them in, gonna be quite a bit of work because it's not just a standard frame, it's these were built right into the pole barn siding, so. That's why it's expensive.
Both quotes to me look good for the value of what's being done. I don't know why we wouldn't take the cheaper one, because they're both qualified.
Well, except it sounds like that one may have backed out as well.
It's unfortunate. We'll spend more money to go to the other one. I would then recommend we go with KR Contracting. I'll make a motion.
Okay, thank you, Jay. Anybody want to second that?
I'll second it.
Thank you, Leroy. Got a motion and a second to accept the quote from Sierra Contracting to replace the two doors in City Hall. All in favor, say aye.
Aye.
Anybody opposed? Hearing none, motion passes. Move on to 7.4, consider direction for 2050 comprehensive plan. Administrator Jelinski, you gonna take that?
yeah, thank you, Mayor and Council. We have a 2050 comprehensive plan coming up in the next couple of years, and we need to decide how we would like to get that completed. And so if we want to have our planning company MSA complete that, or if we want to go out for RFP. If we would like to do that, then we need to have an RFP drawn up and get ready and sent out. Our company MSA can also submit for that RFP if they would like to do that. Our suggestion would be that our planner does not participate in that, would be separate of that. But just like direction of what council would like to do, because we do need to get that started. There's a lot of cities that are already starting that process. We don't want to get behind on that. It's going to be an exhaustive process. So we'd like to get moving on that, so.
Perfect, thank you, Steve. Council, questions or comments?
Right, just clarify. We are asking MSA to create our request for proposal for others to do it, or we're asking them to put together a proposal to do this, to do the work?
No, I'm asking the council if we would like to go out for RFP to have another company, well, any company do it, or if the council would like to ask MSA do it.
What experience does MSA have in doing? Yeah, I would love to see what their experience is first, see if they're qualified to do that and who else they've done it for. Otherwise, we probably should get at least a few. Who did our last one? Do we know?
Yeah, collaborative planning.
She did, okay. I think we definitely want to get moving on it. But I think we should be also, I don't know that they haven't, MSA hasn't done one for us. previously.
So it might be a good opportunity for them to
To
show
together
you in an
showcase.
show you in an RFP then.
Yeah, that's.
So-
Chris, I see you're online there, wanting to jump in.
Yeah, I love the question. And yes, Chris Jansen with MSA. Good to be with you tonight. We are we have done many comp plans. We are in the middle of updating a few. The Met Council ones are, I think Steve was right. They're a little bit more of a lift than you would get outside. I would say I know that right now Emily is working on one for Amory, Wisconsin, and Preston, Minnesota, and Maple Lake, Minnesota. But all of those don't have quite the rigmarole, for lack of a better way to say it, that the Met Council requires when they put these together. There will be some, if it's anything, and I haven't looked at the, I think the system statements came out recently because we have several other clients that are in the Met Council jurisdiction that are all got those. I was just looking at Oak Grove's the other day, their system statement and what they're going to have to do for it. I have not quite seen the list of all of the things that have to be put in there, but having gone through the process 10 years ago with a number of other cities in the metro area, there will be a lot of coordination with engineering on that. I will say that because there was the water plans, sewer stuff, the stormwater stuff, all of those are required to be incorporated into that comprehensive plan, along with just the land use planning that everyone would assume would be part of it. So we're certainly qualified. If you would like me to put together, kind of a general scope and quote after I get a chance to kind of look at things, I'd be happy to do that. If you want us to respond to an RFP, we're happy to do that as well.
Okay, I have one other question.
Thank you, Chris. Yeah.
Since we are still working on budget and if we are looking at doing some of this, perhaps he could also at least give us a guesstimate of what we might need to spend in 2026 so that we can consider that if we need to consider any of it.
I think, didn't you add some?
We have something in there, but maybe we could confirm
But it
that.
is, also remember, Jay, it's a multi-year.
Correct.
It's not just a next
Correct.
year thing.
Correct.
So
But
you have to
I'm
look
just
at
saying is
what's the
if-
overall spend.
If we have dollars that we
we're
gotta
gonna
spend
each
next year, then we should make sure that we've got those zeroed in for
Right.
the next couple of weeks here.
Yeah. Margaret?
If you guys would be okay, I'd be happy to put something together that includes kind of a schedule and scope and get it back to you to review, and then you guys can make a decision from there if you'd like on what direction you'd like to go, whether you want to pursue that further or go to an RFP. Either way, you are probably going to want to have a budget to throw out so that you're comparing apples to apples once you get to that point.
Bill?
Right, we probably lose efficiency if we hired someone outside of our planning organization to work this, because now we're working with two different entities. So that's something we need to consider. If MSA is very qualified and has done multiple comp plans in the Met Council area, I'm gonna lean towards using them just because I think we're gonna save money and not having to use two different entities. But if they don't have a lot of experience, because I thought they mainly operated in Wisconsin. But we'll wait to see what experience they have on.
Yeah, you probably aren't wrong. I mean, there probably is definitely, some efficiencies to gain because they're already working with our team.
Right.
I think as what Administrator Jelinski mentioned before, would be my desire would be is to not interrupt like Claire with her more,
Day-to-day.
ongoing day-to-day work and rather if there was another person, maybe, like Chris or somebody who, would lead that project rather than Claire, I would be more favorable towards something like that. as
How would that
well.
work out, Eric?
Chris?
Sorry.
That'd be fine. Emily Harold, who I know you guys have, I think she's been working on the park plan. Like I said, she's currently doing 3 different plans, comp plans. Again, there's a lot of things that are similar about the comp plans. The Met Council ones, the specific plan document is what changes a little bit from how flexible we're able to be with the other plans. But in terms of engagement and, focusing on land use and talking to citizens about what they want to see over the next 10 years and growth and that type of thing, more than capable. Emily, myself, on my team alone, none of which is in Wisconsin, we have 6 planners, including myself, that all do comprehensive plans on a regular basis as well as juggle other stuff. So yes, I can appreciate keeping Claire on the day-to-day and making sure that bus moves, but we certainly have the staff to cover in the meantime. And Claire wasn't with us 10 years ago, so the Met Council experience is pretty much mine. So we worked on Hastings Comp Plan, Oak Grove, Lexington. Trying to think. There was one other one. Oh, yeah, Mendota Heights, which was really small, but we have experience and certainly can bite that off and have the staff capacity to not interrupt normal workflow to get that done.
Is there a skeleton like RFP proposal for something like this that the league could give us so we know what questions to ask and all that?
Yeah.
So Chris, question, how fast do you think you could turn something around, like just a short little proposal just to take a look at? Is that something we could have within 2 weeks for our next meeting?
Yeah.
The reason I
Yeah.
ask
Yeah.
is if we're going to consider this type of a process working with MSA with the existing relationship, I think we'd want to kind of have an idea what this looks like, still with enough time that if we decide we want to still do an RFP for an outside firm, that we have that time yet to do.
Sure. Yes, I can get. Oh, I'm sorry.
No, you're fine. I mean, to me, it'd be like not only cost, but what does that process look like? What would be proposed to that process, right? So we can talk about if we wanted to add things to that process, or for instance, maybe some more public engagement and pieces like that. Some workshops that may not be included in the basic standard comprehensive plan generation.
Yes, I can get that turned around. My first step is going to be in terms of hey, here's our experience in the general scope. We put that together on a regular basis to go after other projects. So that's not a problem. What I will need to dig into is if the Met Council has kind of released, as I said, the system statements come out, but I need to dig into what they're going to require as part of those comp plans. And probably within what I provide to you, point out where again, the last time we went through this, there were a lot of non-comp plan type documents that were included that needed to be adopted and updated as part of the comp plan. So that would probably be the other piece to look at. And Shane, if you have gone through this process before, you probably can provide some insight on some of the engineering information that they sometimes require as part of these 10-year updates.
And
Maybe.
Chris,
I didn't mean to put you on the spot, Troy.
Chris, the system statements was in the weekly notes on Friday, so.
Okay. Did it have, I'll have to look. I breezed through the one I was looking at as I was waiting for something else, but I will certainly, Mayor, I'm happy to get you something in time for the next meeting for you guys to take a look at. No problem.
Perfect.
Yeah, I do.
And
If we remember back, our previous administrator was the one that brought in MSA after we had our other planner leave. One of the statements that was made is I really do believe we need to have a RFP since it was, it bypassed our due diligence. So I think it's a great opportunity for us to look at RFP for both. I'm not saying I feel MSA's done anything wrong. I think they've been a great partner, but I also think it's a good time for us to go back for an RFP on both planning
General
and
planning
the
services.
2025 comp plan. I think it would be the right thing to do for our citizens and making sure that we've got the right partner for long term and for the comprehensive plan.
I agree with that.
Okay. And that's fine too. I mean, if we want to rock through that process here as we get towards the end of the year, yeah, I mean, we could jump right to that piece and do that.
don't think it has to be anything grandiose or long, especially like Chris said, I mean, they do these RFPs all the time, so it shouldn't be a challenging process for us to go through. So I would make a recommendation to go through the RFP process for the 2025 comprehensive plan plus an RFP for the planning in general.
General planning services.
Is that a motion?
Yeah,
I'll
yes.
second. And we do have $20,000 that's in the preliminary levy.
Okay. So I've got a motion by Zonto, second by Marker to direct staff to initiate 2 RFP processes, one for general planning services and one for comprehensive plan 2050 update process. Sound right?
Correct.
All in favor, say aye.
Aye.
Anybody opposed? Hearing none, motion passes. All right, we'll move into staff and council member reports. Steve, Abe,
No.
Leroy? No, I got nothing. Jay?
Yeah, just a couple things. Neighbor called me. Apparently, does anybody know that we actually have Prior Lake PD using the Credit River portion of the aggregate mine for target practice?
Really?
Yeah,
No.
apparently, and then I don't recall that being in any of the
Conditional use.
conditional use permit, but apparently they needed to cite in some scopes after some adjustment, and they were granted permission to use that. Apparently there was some shooting going down there, and a neighbor told me about it, but I'm just curious to know that see if anybody actually notified any of us about that. And I think that I don't believe that that's actually a good use for that property.
Well,
It's obviously safe, but
it may not violate any of our ordinances though either,
right.
right? So as long as it confers with DNR.
And so the question,
regulations.
and the question is then because hunting's allowed there.
Correct.
But the thing is that if we have through joint powers, Savage is actually operating that. We've got nothing to do with it. No, it brings a question to mind.
They have been shooting there for over 50 years. You see it from time to time.
They haven't been, take that back. They haven't been doing it in the Credit River portion for over 50 years because it was a field.
It wasn't, it
15 years ago.
Has it been there for that?
Yeah, so,
Yeah.
and the north of 160th Street is in the city of Savage. South of 160th Street is in the city of Credit River. And I have adjoining property to that, so.
Peter, not to put you in a spot, but from what you're aware of, I mean, I don't, Credit River doesn't have any standalone ordinances, but are you aware of what DNR or any other state regulatory ordinances are as regarding shooting?
Cities like Credit River absolutely have the authority to be zoning for the location of shooting ranges. General zoning law is uses are prohibited unless expressly permitted by the ordinance, whether that's a conditionally permitted use or an interim use permit. I don't believe any law enforcement agency or any private agency would have the authority to just come in to the city and set up their shooting range without getting authority from the city. That's my off the cuff.
I think they were given permission
Property owner.
from the tenant who's actually running there's a group
Right.
that's actually
Leased
leasing
out
the
to-
mining rights.
Yeah.
I think that's the word.
No, it's
Pentex or
yeah.
something like that. Marty?
Pentex,
Yeah.
minerals or something like that, yeah. Okay, I think we need to have some discussions or talk to them.
Yeah. My other question about that would be, I know, I'm just wondering if, as I understood, Savage was maybe interested in doing something with the joint powers agreement. What's our thought on that? And I think we should be taking that back over for the Credit River portion.
And Steve, I know you had discussions with Savage on that, correct?
You wanna borrow mine?
No, it's new batteries.
Uh,
We,
So is your screen?
we've talked with Savage and they're going to give back the ownership to the city.
So dissolve the joint powers
Dissolve
agreement.
the JP,
Okay.
so,
Is there a timeline on that?
yeah. 2026 will be the
Okay.
final.
Mhm.
Right. The other thing I've got, Scales Friday. I'll be doing it remote.
Okay, that's good. Bill, anything?
Yeah, I got a couple things. First of all, I want to thank Linda for updating our website with the minutes and the resolutions. So thank you very much. They're going to be updated now. I want to thank Sue. She's not here tonight, but for I like the way the check register looks now. And I love the fact that we don't have to sign in all those things, forms anymore. So that's good. Is something gonna happen with the ditch 4? Are we gonna have a special meeting? Are we gonna get something from the county?
I did get it about, an hour before the meeting. so
Okay.
We just.
We need to have a meeting before they meet on the 16th.
So they meet on the 21st, so we'll have our 20th meeting.
We will.
Yeah.
Thank you. And then lastly, it's been 6 months, March 31st, I think was Steve's first day, and we have a 6-month performance review we have to do on the city administrator according to your contract. So will you be putting out the forms that we fill out and scheduling that for a future meeting?
Sure.
Agenda? Okay. That's all I have.
Okay, thank you, Bill. Shane, anything? Linda, anything?
And one thing I forgot, the pond below Jay's house needs to be cleaned on the. Inlet where the water comes in. Got sand built up. Down there. So. Whatever you guys wanna do about it.
Mr. Mayor, I forgot something too related to, well, I guess it's not related, but there was a resident that called me and probably called you today about another problem with ditch 4 and a beaver dam that's blocking water. And I recommended that he call the county because there's still the drainage authority. But that's just another example of what are we getting ourselves into by assuming responsibility, but because we don't know how many more issues are like that we don't know about, so it's something to consider.
What happens if nobody does anything about it? Either.
Well, isn't it up to the landowner?
Problem is the beaver dam is not on the landowner that's being affected by it.
Right.
It's 2 properties north of where the beaver dam is. The basis of the radio antennas are underwater.
Nice.
Yeah,
And make a motion to adjourn.
you can.
I'll second.
Thank you.
I'm gonna let that one hang for a while, see how long we go. Motion and second to adjourn. All in favor, say aye. Aye. Be opposed here, none. Motion passes. Thank you, everybody.
Yeah.
You going to do anything with the? Horn St.
I guess I was confrontational, right?